Hello, beautiful people. My name is Kristen. Thank you for stopping by my channel. Today, I am going to be reviewing a book that is a new author to me, David Baldacci. So my mother, this was on her TBR when she had passed away suddenly. And so I wanted to read this in honor of my mother. And I had been wanting to try out this author at some point, but it's one of those where really popular authors, I sometimes don't just want to jump on the hype train just to get on it. But because it was sitting on her bookshelf to be picked up, I went ahead and read it. And so I just wanted to share that so that you know that I can't compare this to his other works, or I think these might be some of the same characters and I have no knowledge of that. So that's my background on this. Having said that, I found this book highly enjoyable, highly engaging, very easy to read. A Calamity of Souls is, I think, his latest release, and it was very well researched and also planned for quite some time, because the author's note states that this is kind of back to his roots, things that he had kind of witnessed or wrestled with himself growing up in the late 60s in Virginia and witnessing some racism and tensions that were around that. The premise of this story is that there are a white couple that are kind of beloved in the community that are murdered, and a black man who works for them is kind of the one who finds them or is on the premise. So they are persecuting him for the murders. But it is pretty obvious right from the beginning that he doesn't have the motives, or this isn't really him. However, that's the way the system is kind of set up. And so we realize there's kind of two detective lawyer going at this, Lee and DuBose. And DuBose is a black woman lawyer and Lee is the white male lawyer. And so you get that tension back and forth about how they're going to set up his case, what they think will be the best solution. And it's really kind of educational for Lee in the sense that he realizes very quickly that yes, his client has a lot against him that really isn't necessarily fair, but it's the way it is, and he's going to do everything in his power to fight for it. And they both realize that we really need to find the real killer in order to get their client off. And so that's where the kind of detective part of it comes in. They're actually trying to solve the case as well as make a defense. And it was not completely predictable and had some things that were very suspenseful, and I wanted to keep reading. And I really appreciated the genuineness and kind of grittiness of his conversations and dialogue that he would have between the characters. So I will definitely be picking up some more of this author in the future. If you have read a lot of his or you're a fan, leave me a comment what you think I should read next. I don't know how this fits into his other writings, if they're reoccurring characters or whatnot, but I will say, as somebody who read it as a standalone, it worked as a standalone. There was no point that I felt like, hey, what's going on? Or I'm missing some subplot or that kind of thing. So I think maybe that is the case, but you didn't feel that. So if you haven't ever picked him up, this is a really great one, particularly with the note that the author did a lot of his own kind of autobiographical childhood witnessing and histories, and obviously has a love for Virginia. So it's always fun when the author puts himself into some place that he's actually been and experienced and then shares that in a way with us. So totally recommend that book if you're into mystery thrillers, and hope that you will leave me a comment if you've read these to know what I should read next. Hope that y'all have happy reading. Take care.